In the deepest reaches of a forgotten Indonesian cellar, where the air hangs thick with the scent of damp earth and centuries of rot, there lies a glass case. Within it sits the Jenglot, a mummified creature of myth, its long hair trailing like dead vines, and its tiny fangs bared in a permanent snarl. Most believe these beings are mere artifacts or husks of failed sorcerers. But tonight, the wood-paneled walls seem to breathe with a life that should not exist. The silence is heavy, broken only by the rhythmic dripping of water from a rusted pipe above, echoing into the oppressive void where light fears to travel. As the moon climbs higher, casting a silver sliver of light through the cracked foundation, something stirs in the corner. It is not the Jenglot, not yet. It is a rat, but not like any rodent you have ever seen. It is large, its fur matted with the grease of the underworld, and its eyes, oh, its eyes, they glow with a sentient, burning red. It moves with a calculated grace, avoiding the traps set by the living, as if it knows the secrets of the house better than those who dwell above. It approaches the glass case with a purpose that defies nature, scratching at the wood with long, yellowed claws. The Jenglot's head slowly, ever so slowly, tilts. A crackling sound, like dry parchment tearing, fills the room as its neck joints move for the first time in decades. It does not look at the rat with hunger, but with recognition. There is an ancient pact, written in blood and shadow, between these two outcasts of the natural order. They are the leftovers of a ritual, gone horribly wrong, or perhaps horribly right. The rat stands on its hind legs, pressing its wet nose against the glass, and the Jenglot reaches out, a tiny clawed hand pressing against the barrier from within, a silent greeting between monsters.
The barrier is thin, but it is not physical strength that breaks it. It is the vibration, a low, guttural hum that begins to emanate from the rat's throat, a sound that resonates with the very soul of the Jenglot. The glass begins to web, thin white lines spreading like frost, until with a soft, musical chime, it shatters. The shards do not fall, they hover for a moment, suspended in the dark energy before falling silently into the dust. The Jenglot is free, but it does not run. It steps out, its tiny feet making no sound, and it climbs onto the back of the waiting rodent, like a rider mounting a dark steed. Together, they begin their patrol. This is the secret affair, the unholy communion that happens every night while the world sleeps. They are not hunter and prey. They are lovers of the macabre, two halves of a broken spirit seeking to be whole. They traverse the crawl spaces, the rat providing the strength, and the Jenglot providing the ancient vision. They whisper to each other in a language of clicks and whistles and telepathic echoes, sharing memories of the era when they were human, before their greed led them to this twisted, miniature existence.
They reach a small opening, overlooking the bedroom of the house owner, a man who collects artifacts without understanding their price. He sleeps soundly, unaware that his most prized possession is currently staring at him from the darkness of the air vent. The rat's whiskers twitch, sensing the man's pulse, while the Jenglot's long hair begins to writhe like snakes sensing heat. They do not want his blood, at least not yet. They want his dreams. They feed on the subconscious fears that leak from a sleeping mind, harvesting the terror to fuel their own unnatural longevity.
A soft, rhythmic chanting begins to fill the room, though the man does not wake. It is the Jenglot's voice, a sound like dry leaves blowing over a grave. The rat acts as the conduit, its body vibrating with the frequency of the spell. The air becomes cold, and the man's breath begins to hitch, his eyelids fluttering in a rapid, terrifying dream. The shadow on the wall, cast by the two creatures, begins to grow, expanding until it covers the entire ceiling, a monstrous, merged shape that looks like a winged demon with 1,000 gnashing teeth.
Suddenly, the man's eyes snap open. He senses the presence, the heavy weight of the malevolent gaze upon him. He reaches for his flashlight, his hand trembling as he fumbles on the nightstand. The beam cuts through the dark, scanning the walls, the ceiling, the corners. For a heartbeat, he sees it, a glimpse of a matted tail and a flash of long, black hair disappearing into the vent. He tells himself it's just the wind, just a trick of the light. But the deep, bleeding scratches on his mahogany bed frame tell a much different and much more violent story.
Back in the basement, the duo returns to the shattered case. But the twist is not in their movement, but in their origin. As they settle into the center of the broken glass, the moonlight hits them directly, and their forms begin to blur. They are not two separate entities, but two parts of the same cursed soul. Years ago, a sorcerer tried to split his consciousness to live forever, putting his cunning into the rat and his malice into the Jenglot. Their affair is simply the soul trying to stitch itself back together, a desperate, lonely dance of a man who can never truly die and can never truly be human again.
As the sun begins to peak over the horizon, the magic fades, the Jenglot returns to its stiff, mummified state, and the rat scurries back into the deep, dark corners, waiting for the next night to reunite. The owner of the house will come down soon. He will see the broken glass, and he will think there was an intruder or an accident. He will never realize that the thing he owns actually owns him, and that every night his life force is being drained to sustain a romance that was never meant to be. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates. Be careful what you keep in your basement.